Hey everyone, and welcome back! Ever wondered why we carve pumpkins and wear costumes on October 31st? It's a holiday of fun and frights, but its origins are far more ancient and mysterious than you might think. Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the dark and fascinating story of how Halloween began. Our story starts over 2,000 years ago with the ancient Celts, who lived in the lands that are now Ireland, the UK, and northern France. For them, the end of October was a critical time. They celebrated a festival called Samhain, pronounced Samhain, which marked the end of summer and the harvest, and the beginning of the long, dark winter season they associated with death. The Celts believed that on the night of Samhain, the veil between the world of the living and the dead became thin, allowing the ghosts of the deceased to return to Earth. These spirits could be welcome ancestors or malevolent entities that could cause trouble or damage crops. This mystical night also empowered the Druids, or Celtic priests, to make prophecies about the future, which provided comfort and guidance through the harsh winter. To commemorate Samhain, Druids built massive sacred bonfires. People gathered to burn crops and offer animal sacrifices to their deities, believing the fire had cleansing and protective powers. They would then relight their home hearths from this bonfire to protect their families. During the festival, Celts wore costumes, typically made of animal heads and skins. This served two purposes: to disguise themselves from harmful spirits and to represent various nature gods. So, every time you put on a costume, you're participating in a ritual thousands of years old, designed to navigate a night when spirits walk the earth. And that's how the traditions of bonfires and costumes began. In the next part, we'll discover how Halloween evolved through history. Welcome back! In our last video, we explored the ancient Celtic roots of Samhain. But how did a pagan festival of spirits and bonfires become a holiday celebrated around the world? The next chapter of our story begins with the rise of a mighty empire. Around 43 AD, the Roman Empire conquered most of the Celtic lands. As they ruled for hundreds of years, their traditions began to blend with the local customs. The Romans had their own festival in late October called Feralia, a day when they commemorated the passing of the dead. They also honored Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees, whose symbol was the apple. This likely explains why apples became associated with early Halloween traditions. Over time, these Roman festivals merged with the Celtic celebration of Samhain, creating a new, blended tradition. Centuries later, as Christianity spread across Europe, it sought to replace older pagan festivals. In the 9th century, Pope Gregory III made a strategic move. He changed the date of All Saints' Day, a feast honoring all Christian martyrs and saints, from May 13th to November 1st. This was a deliberate effort to overshadow the pagan Samhain and provide a church-approved holiday. The night before this holy day, October 31st, was designated as All Hallows' Eve. Hallow is an Old English word for saint. Over the centuries, All Hallows' Eve was gradually shortened to the name we know today, Halloween. The church also established All Souls' Day on November 2nd to honor all the dead. In medieval Europe, the festival atmosphere was lively. Church bells would ring for the souls in purgatory, while villagers lit bonfires and held parades. People, especially the poor, would go selling, visiting wealthier homes to receive soul cakes in exchange for a promise to pray for the dead. Others participated in guising or mummering, dressing as saints, angels, and devils to perform short plays and songs. And that's how a Celtic festival evolved through Roman and Christian influence to become the holiday we recognize by name. Next, let's see how Halloween became the fun night we know today. We've traveled from ancient Celtic bonfires to medieval Christian traditions. But how did we get from soul cakes and parades to trick-or-treating and glowing pumpkins? The answer lies across the Atlantic, where immigrants brought old traditions to a new world. The modern American version of Halloween began to take shape in the 19th century when a wave of new immigrants, especially from Ireland and Scotland, arrived. They brought their rich traditions with them, including one of the most iconic symbols of Halloween, the jack-o'-lantern. This tradition comes from an old Irish folktale about a man named Stingy Jack. Jack was a trickster who fooled the devil multiple times. When Jack died, God wouldn't allow him into heaven, and the devil, keeping his promise not to take his soul, wouldn't let him into hell. Instead, Jack was doomed to roam the earth for eternity, with only a single burning coal inside a carved-out turnip to light his way. The Irish called him Jack of the Lantern, which became Jack-o'-lantern. Originally, people in Ireland and Scotland carved scary faces into turnips, potatoes, and beets to frighten away Jack and other evil spirits. When they came to America, they found that pumpkins, a native vegetable, were much larger and easier to carve, creating the perfect canvas for the jack-o'-lanterns we know and love today. The tradition of trick-or-treating also evolved from these old-world customs. The medieval practices of selling and guising were brought to America, where communities transformed them. By the early 20th century, children would dress in costumes and go from house to house, performing a little song or a trick in exchange for a treat. Over time, the trick became a playful threat, and the phrase trick-or-treat was born, becoming a central part of the holiday by the 1950s. Halloween parties also became popular, turning the night into a community-wide celebration of spooky fun. And that's how ancient beliefs and immigrant traditions blended together to create the fun, candy-filled Halloween we celebrate today. But did you know Halloween is also celebrated differently around the world? Let's go to the Philippines next.
While the West has its pumpkins and parties, here, Halloween season takes on a unique and deeply meaningful character. It's a time that perfectly blends modern fun with a centuries-old tradition known as Undas. Long before trick-or-treating became popular, Filipinos have observed Undas, which falls on November 1st and 2nd, All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. This is a time for family, remembrance, and respect for the dead. Families travel back to their hometowns in what becomes one of the country's biggest annual migrations. They gather in cemeteries to clean and repaint the tombs of their loved ones, decorating them with elaborate flower arrangements and countless candles. It's not a somber occasion, but a lively reunion. The cemetery becomes a place of gathering, with families sharing food, telling stories, and even spending the night by the gravesides, praying for the souls of their ancestors. The Western-style Halloween, with its costumes and candy, is a more recent phenomenon. It began gaining popularity in the 1990s, mostly in urban areas and among the upper class. Today, it has become a mainstream commercial event. Malls host grand costume contests and spooky-themed events for families. In private subdivisions and gated communities, children dress up as superheroes and princesses to go trick-or-treating. It's a festive, fun-filled celebration, heavily influenced by American pop culture. So in the Philippines, you see a fascinating contrast. On one hand, you have the deeply spiritual and traditional observance of Undas, a time to honor family and faith. On the other, you have the fun and commercialized excitement of Halloween. It's a season where ancient traditions and modern festivities exist side by side, creating a uniquely Filipino experience. Now let's wrap it up with some spooky and fun Halloween facts.
We've journeyed through the history and traditions of this spooky season, but now it's time for the grand finale, a whirlwind of fun facts that make Halloween one of the most fascinating holidays of the year. First up, let's talk about the sweetest part of Halloween, the candy. Did you know that Americans spend a mind-boggling amount on Halloween treats? In 2024 alone, spending on Halloween candy is projected to hit a record for $0.1 billion. That's enough candy to create a sugary trail around the world multiple times. And the most popular treat, chocolate, of course. Ever wondered why orange and black are the official colors of Halloween? It's not just a random choice. Black represents the darkness and death associated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which marked the end of summer and the beginning of the dark, cold winter. Orange, on the other hand, symbolizes the autumn harvest season, representing the color of pumpkins and changing leaves. Together, they perfectly capture the holiday's blend of spooky and cozy. While Halloween is huge in America, it's celebrated all over the globe. It all started in Ireland as Samhain. In Mexico, people celebrate Dia de los Muertos. In Japan, massive street parties are a modern tradition. In Hong Kong, the Yue Lan or Hungry Ghost Festival involves burning paper offerings and staging operas to appease wandering spirits. In Germany, people hide their knives, while in Austria, they leave out a meal for souls. And in Romania, tourists flock to Dracula's castle. Halloween may have spooky roots, but it's now a night of fun, creativity, and community. It's a chance to be someone else for a night, to share treats with your neighbors, and to come together for a good scare and a great laugh. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. Happy Halloween!